Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on this first installment of our brand new little project here, FYC Daily. For those of you who don't know what FYC Daily is, let me give you a quick explanation, which is probably in order since this is our first time doing this. As you know, we've got a podcast called For Your Consideration, and we do that a couple times a month. It's difficult for us to do it on a real regular basis because of guys like Steve Weintraub of Collider and Dennis Zen of Coming Soon, George Roush, Roth, Cornette, Soul Video, John Green. It's very difficult to always arrange people's schedules. So what we decided to do is we're going to start a daily, Monday through Friday. I'm sure we're going to miss a day or two here and there. But Monday through Friday morning talk show at 10 a.m., which is what we're doing now. It's called FYC Daily. That is a lot easier for me to just pull together with some friends of mine who are available. And I'm going to introduce you to somebody here. I'm very lucky right now to be joined by a friend of mine who's going to be one of the co-hosts here on FYC Daily. I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Matthew Bernard. Matthew, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. So we've got a few things to talk about today, and we're going to jump into it. And I want to remind you guys, we've got, as I'll bring up here in just a second, we've got a chat board going on. And what you do is, if you're watching us either on my Facebook page or somewhere else on the web, maybe you're watching somewhere, just visit us on our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/FYC podcast. And you'll see the links to watch the show. But also, once you go to the shows page, click on the chat tab. You'll see a social stream tab and a chat tab. Just click on the social stream tab, or I mean the chat tab, and you'll be able to jump in and start talking with us right away, which is pretty cool and something that I like, actually. So anyway, let's get started here. Matt?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you've heard of this, because we didn't actually talk about this before we started the show here, but are you aware, and this is going to sound a little bit like a shameless plug, have you guys... Have you heard of the Stubs program at AMC, the AMC Stubs card?
No, I haven't.
Okay. And a lot of people haven't. A lot of people haven't. But I wanted to bring this up, and I swear, even though I work for AMC, and I swear this is not a paid plug, I'm just, this is something I just really want people to know about, damn it.
Okay.
Because honestly, I go to the theater and I use this thing all the time, and I see people not using it, and it's driving me nuts. Okay, so guys, there's this thing. I'm going to bring it up on the screen here. There's this thing called the AMC Stubs program, okay? If you are a film fan, and I know I'm completely biased because I work for AMC, but trust me, this is something I just want to talk about because this is a good deal for movie fans. What you do is, now with most movie theater chains or anything, you can get, a loyalty program. Well, Stubs is the AMC Theaters loyalty program. But despite the fact that I work for AMC Theaters, I wholeheartedly believe everybody should have this thing. And here's why. When you get the Stubs card, let me tell you what the drawback to it is first. The drawback on the Stubs card is that you have to pay for it. Unlike other loyalty programs, which are free, obviously, the Stubs program is something you have to pay for. I'm not thrilled with that, but you'll understand why that is in just a second here. You got to pay for the Stubs program. It's, I believe, $12 a year, but sometimes they let you buy it for like, they'll have sales on where you can get it for $6 for the year, or sometimes even free depending on the promotion. But generally speaking, I pay $12 for the year. But Matthew, here is why you should have an AMC Stubs card.
Okay, I'm ready.
I've already said the drawback. The drawback is that it's $12 you got to pay for it. The advantages are huge, though. First of all,
foot massages
from hot blondes every time you visit an AMC theater. No,
all right.
Here's one of the main things that is the biggest appeal to me. Just by having the card, whenever you go to an AMC movie, and you buy something at the concession stand that comes in different sizes, whether it's soft drinks or popcorn, which is the two most normal. Just by having the Stubs card, you show it to them. You can upgrade for free. So if you order, say you want a medium popcorn and a medium pop, well, just order a small popcorn and a small soda and say upgrade. Just show them the card and say upgrade those to medium, and they do that for free. Or if you want larges, just say order a medium soda and a medium popcorn, show them the card and say, upgrade those to large. And they do that for free. If you're somebody like me who goes to the movies like a few times a week, or even if you just go once a week, that's saving a couple of bucks every time you go. Like every single time you go, that's a couple of bucks right there. So you paid $12, but in 1 month, you've probably made 8 or 9. And that's if you go by yourself. Heaven help you if you have a wife or a girlfriend. Oh, yeah. Heaven help you if you have a wife.
Lord knows the tens of dollars.
And especially heaven help you if you have a Filipino wife, which, anyway, I won't go into that. But then you're saving like, 16, 17, 18, 19 bucks a month just on free upgrades. The other advantage of Stubs is that you get credit for everything you spend in the theater. Now, a lot of these loyalty programs, they'll give you credit for the amount of movie tickets you buy. But we all know that the most money you spend in a movie theater isn't on movie tickets. The biggest money you spend in a movie theater is actually at the concession stand. Because you're going to drop 20, depending on your appetite and what you feel like doing and how many of you are, you can drop like 20, 30 bucks at the concession stand. With the AMC Stubs program, you actually get credit for the movie tickets you buy, but then you also get credit for the anything you buy at the concession stand. So now you're getting credit for everything. But here's the biggest thing to most people. Like I said, to me, the biggest thing is the fact that you get free upgrades on everything. With the Stubs program, everything you buy in AMC, you get credit for. And once you spend $100, which let's face it, if you go a couple times a month with a date, that's going to add up pretty quick between concession stand and movie tickets. Once you spend $100, you get $10 credit. Every time your limit hits $100 that you've spent, you get $10 credit. Now, with a lot of film theater chains, what happens is when you do get a reward, they tell you what your reward is. They tell you what it is you get to have, whether it's a small popcorn or whether it's something else like that. But with an AMC Stubs card, you get $10 credit. You can spend that on anything you want in AMC. You can spend that on a movie ticket. You can spend that on concession stands. You can spend that on a gift card. You can spend it on anything you can buy in an AMC theater. So the big drawback with the AMC Stubs card is the fact that you got to spend $12 for it, which is kind of unheard of, that you got to actually pay to be a part of a loyalty program. But with that being said, if you're a film fan that goes at least once a month, I mean, if you're somebody who goes to the movies 2 or 3 times a year, this isn't for you. But if you're somebody who goes, if you're like me, you go a few times a month, then this becomes really valuable because despite the fact that you're paying $12, you're also getting free upgrades on all your concession items, which adds up quickly every month. You get credit for everything you spend in an AMC theater, unlike just movie tickets, which is what you get at other theater chains. And then you get to spend your rewards on anything you want in the theater, unlike other chains, which will just tell you what you get. And I'll tell you right now, I, in 1 year, have probably saved about $100 on upgrades. I just came to the end of my first year of using Stubs, and I sat down and did some math. I've saved over $100 on free upgrades. I've cashed in my rewards 4 times, which is $40 in credit that came back to me. So, I mean, for $12, I'm looking at $140 that I got in a year. If you are a film fan and you go to a theater very often, particularly if you go to an AMC theater, actually specifically if you go to an AMC theater, this thing is for you. Matthew, why would you not get an AMC Stubs card?
You can't afford not to. It just makes no sense. $100.
Welcome to the FYCDaily infomercial. And I swear to God, nobody from AMC put me up to this. I love this card so much, and I just want film fans to be able to use it.
You guys, loyalty programs.
Generally, they suck. They
so
suck.
Excited.
But I love this one. Seriously, I think film fans should have this card. Go out and get it. Seriously, go out and grab one. Matt, we got some bigger things to talk about here. And I guess the one...
I doubt it.
I doubt it. Bigger than the AMC Stubs card? I guess the thing we should really start with here is all this controversy going around Expendables 2. Now, for those of you who have not heard this story, here's the basics of it. As y'all know, Expendables 2 is coming out. Personally, I really liked the first Expendables. I thought it was a hell of a lot of fun. Yeah, it was bad in many, many ways. But the action was terrific. and I had a good time watching it. They said they're coming out with an Expendables 2, and this time there's going to be a bigger Arnold Schwarzenegger presence. There's going to be a bigger Bruce Willis presence. They're adding Jean-Claude Van Damme. They're adding Chuck Norris. But here's the rub. What the word is, and apparently Sylvester Stallone has confirmed all this, is that Chuck Norris basically told the producers when they approached him about being in an Expendables 2, he said, I'm interested, but I'm not really down with all the foul language. Chuck Norris, the world's ultimate killer, apparently has, some pretty high moral standards, I guess. And he says to them, I don't want to do it unless you cut out a lot of the foul language. Now, keep in mind, it's his right to do that. It's not like he went to them and said, hey, I'll be in your movie if you do this, and I'm making demands. They came to him. They came to him. So
they're beating his door down.
Yeah, exactly. They came to him. He says to them, okay, sure, I'm interested. However, if you're going to do this, I don't want the foul language. So that's his right to say. And it's the Expendables' right, the producers, to say, okay, thank you for your time, Mr. Norris, but, we do want to have the language in it, so we're going to go, go fuck yourself. I mean, they could say that if they wanted. But apparently,
it's just language, right? From what I was reading, it's like he doesn't have a problem with people exploding. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He made no. This is the ironic thing. He made, apparently, from all the reports that I read, he made no mention of the violence. He's all for the violence. The Chuck Norris is all about the violence. I mean, he wants to rip out somebody's throat. He just doesn't want to say shit while he's doing it. Fair enough.
Yeah. So if I saw a guy explode, my first thing would be like, golly gee willikers, I can't believe that guy poofed like that, So that's understandable.
So and by the way, guys, feel free to jump into the chat board and continue. We're reading the chat board as we're doing this, so tell us about what you're thinking about this story as we're going on with it. But what happened then is people got really upset. People have been taking to the interweb and voicing a lot of concerns, cursing out the name Chuck Norris. I read this one, I'm telling you, I read this one tirade online yesterday that just bogged my mind. It's this huge, long, exhortation really on why Expendables 2 is going to suck now. You've neutered it. You've taken everything that's fun out of it because the studios decided to go along with Chuck Norris, take out the language, and as a result, Expendables 2 is going to be PG-13. It's going to be PG-13.
Ugh.
Now,
what a stink, right?
Well, see, that's been the prevailing sentiment online is that, well, if it's PG-13, it's going to suck. If it's PG-13, it's going to suck.
Not even really suck. What's the point? Isn't this supposed to be... The whole movie is not supposed to be exploding in the F word, right? I mean, that's it. That's all anybody's going for.
Well, see, and that's the interesting thing, Matt, is that I don't think, when I watch The Expendables, I'll be honest with you, the definition of R to PG-13, especially when it comes to violence, seems to have been changed a lot in the last few years. Now, I remember there was this huge controversy a few years ago when Die Hard 4 came out, and Inclining Pizza is pointing this out on the chat board right now. Die Hard 4 was coming out, and it was going to be the first Die Hard to be PG-13. And they made it PG-13. And people on the interweb whined and bitched and moaned and complained. Oh, they're gutting it. They're blah, blah. I watched Die Hard 4, and it is by far the weakest of the Die Hard films. No questions asked. But that being said, the fact that it was the weakest of the Die Hard films had nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the fact that it was PG-13 as opposed to R, because aside from the absence of Bruce Willis saying "yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker," which was noticeable in its absence, I couldn't. There was no difference. I saw no difference between, other than quality, between the temperature of the action and the violence in Die Hard versus Die Hard 4. It seems to me that they really don't put a lot of weight on violence anymore as far as giving it R. Yes, in a horror film where there's like intestines being pulled out and a woman's breast being chewed off by wild hellhounds, yes.
Wow.
But I find in action films, I mean, you can have ridiculous high level, high intensity action, and they never think about giving it an R. I mean, look at the Transformers. There are these opposing forces taking swords and chopping each other's heads off, ripping out their, robotic guts, doing a G.I. Joe with a lot of action. I mean, you can get a lot of action films with high intensity action, and it doesn't go towards the R rating. My whole point in all this is this, and then I want to hear what you have to say about it, Matt. Mm-hmm. I think everybody just needs to shut up. I really do. I think everybody is way overreacting to this PG-13 Expendables thing, because I really do think we're not going to notice the slightest bit of difference. I think we're going to notice the lack of the F-bomb a couple of times. But besides that, I watch Expendables. I don't even think that's an R-rated movie. As I watch the Expendables, there's a lot of gunplay, a lot of explosions, a lot of all this kind of stuff. But honestly, there's not a lot of blood. There's not a whole lot of what you'd call, horrific horror-style gore. I think that's a PG-13. I think the original Expendables is a PG-13 movie minus some of the language. And from what I understand, the only concern that Chuck Norris or anybody else brought up was language. Your thoughts, Matt?
I don't know. I like, part of me. This is the thing. Like, everybody's upset about language. I don't know if I'm upset about language more than like. The only reason you go to see the Expendables is for its badassness, and it's if someone's holding back on language or doing that stuff, that it's noticeable.
You think that's noticeable?
Yeah. Well, the violence, like you said, is there. Like, yeah, because there's no getting around it when people have exploding shotguns and beating faces in, stuff like that. But the language, it's an enhancer, John.
It's an enhancer. All right. And I know a lot of people feel that way. And I think, with Die Hard 4, the lack of yippee-ki-yay motherfucker was noticeable. It stood out. And I think with Expendables, you will notice the lack of language. I just think for a movie like Expendables, the reason I'm going to see Expendables is to see Jet Li kick some fool's heads in. I'm going to watch Sylvester Stallone dive across the screen with 2 machine guns in his hand. I'm going to go see Dolph Lundgren pick some guy up over his head and scream, "I must break you."
But we've got that already. We've got those movies already. We go to Expendables for over the top, fucks and things like that. Not no.
See, and that's weird. I never thought of it to go hear the fucks. I thought of it just to go see the violence. That's just me. But anyway, we spend enough time on this. We need to move on to the next topic here. So let's go on to this. Let's see here. There it is. Redbox. Everybody knows Redbox now. And I'll be honest with you. When the Redboxes first came out, now for those of you who don't know what a Redbox is, and let's face it, you all do, so I'm really just saying this for no point whatsoever. But the Redbox are those little machines you get at the grocery store that you can go and you can rent a movie for $1 or $1.20, whatever it is, and you return it the next day. It's a delightful little idea that at first I thought was completely stupid. I'll be honest with you. I thought it was a ridiculous idea. I didn't think anybody was going to take advantage of it. But every time I'm at the grocery store, I see somebody in front of it using it. Now, my particular grocery store that I go to, the store in question is actually a Blockbuster machine that just is a ripoff of the Redbox. One of the drawbacks, though, for these Redboxes, these Blockbuster machines, and for Netflix, has been that for the last little while, certain movie studios put a mandatory delay on how long they have to wait before they can put it out. So, for example, they put out Transformers 3 available on Blu-ray and DVD, but they tell like Netflix, Redbox, the Blockbuster machines, you can't have these in your machines for 30 days. You've got to hold out. I see where they're coming from a little bit. Their whole idea was that if we want more people to buy the DVD, we want more people to buy the Blu-ray, but instead of renting them for $1. That's what we want to do. And so that's kind of been in place. And as somebody who uses Netflix, that's been kind of annoying for me. And just recently, I started using the Redbox machine in my local grocery store. I mean, my wife Ann and I were there one day. I didn't own Thor yet, and we're there. We bought groceries. We're at the grocery store like every other day, and we're like, I'm in the mood to watch Thor. I mean, I saw it 7 times in the theaters, but I feel like watching it again right now. I'm not lying either. 7 times.
To watch Thor. Okay.
7 times in the theater. And I'm thinking I want to watch. I feel like watching Thor, and it was the easiest thing in the world. Now, I can watch it on demand at home, either through my Apple TV, through iTunes for like $5, which is completely reasonable, or I could order it on demand for like $6 or something like that, completely reasonable. But I was there at the store. It's $1. Yeah, and ever since I did that, I've used that machine a few times. I think it's very convenient. Now, what the story here is that Warner Brothers, the studio, went to Redbox and said, okay, we're changing things up here. We want a 56-day delay.
56?
56. We want a 56-day delay between when our Blu-rays, our movies come out, and when you buy them. This is archaic thinking by Warner Brothers. Archaic. They're trying to move everything backwards. Move everybody back to buying physical media. And they're trying to force consumers to do it. And Redbox, I got to tell you, I'm impressed. They finally...
It's 56 days. That's like the number all DVDs are bought within the first 56 days of release? Or
yeah,
how arbitrary is 56 days?
I think it's, that as soon as the day a Warner Brothers movie comes out on Blu-ray and DVD, becomes available for home video, Warner Brothers is telling, Redbox, Netflix, Blockbuster, you have to wait 56 more days before you're allowed to release these, because they want to force people to buy the physical media. It's completely backwards thinking. It's their stuff. It's their right. They can do that. But I was really impressed because the story that came out this week is that Redbox said, go screw yourself. They tried to negotiate with Warner Brothers. They tried to get them to be reasonable. And so finally, Redbox said, you know what then? No, we're not going to do that. Now, if I understand it correctly, here's what that means. Redbox still has the right to rent out these discs. The catch is they could buy them from Warner Brothers at an extremely reduced rate as a distributor to then rent out to the public, but they're going to have to wait 56 days. Redbox has said, you know what, screw you. We're just going to buy the DVDs and the Blu-rays ourselves. We'll buy them at retail. Fine, we'll buy them at retail, but we're going to make these available the day they're legally available. And that's going to cost them a lot of money. But personally,
They'll make it back, though. It's not that big of it won't be that big of a cost.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think if
or just go to the Korean video stores and get them like 2 weeks before you're supposed to anyways.
Not that we condone that sort of behavior at all.
Well, of course not. But
it will cost them a difference, though, because I got to imagine that, the retail on those discs are going to be $20. 20, 21, $22. And they're probably, I'm guesstimating here, but they were probably getting them from the studios themselves for probably like $6 or $7. So you're talking about doubling or tripling your costs if you're Redbox. But
Redbox will make it up. They'll just say the whole box is full and charge late fees. It's not a problem. That's not a problem. That's not a problem for them.
I just think, I think this is a good move. I think somebody needed to stand up to the studio and say, look, this is not, 2003 anymore. You can't do things. You can't.
Well, you don't have to tell me it's not 2003. I know what time it is.
You just can't do things like this anymore. You can't operate business the same way. And as technology moves forward, you got to learn to profit from it, not try to hold it back. And that's exactly what I think Warner Brothers here, and I understand they're trying to make as much money as they can. It's a business. That's why you and I go to work. That's why we have businesses. That's why you do business to make money. I get it. But at some point, you got to say...
Now at OfficeDepot.com,
we
here's
can't
a
do this
product that'll
anymore.
go a long way
Oh,
towards
dear.
improving your productivity.
I'm hearing
Just click on screen to buy
advertising.
it today and enjoy the best value in online shopping.
That's one of the drawbacks
so
of a
go
free
with
stream
Office
is we got
Depot and
advertising.
click here for our great now at OfficeDepot.com.
Yeah,
Here's a
pretty girl
product
in the
that'll
dress
go a
talk
long
and then-
way towards
Yes.
improving your productivity.
on with our lives.
Just click on screen.
But one of the big things here is that I really applaud Redbox. I think this is going to hurt them at first. I think this is going to maybe even hurt them for a while. But I applaud Redbox for their efforts to standing up to Warner Brothers and saying, no, we can't go backwards in technology. We have to go forward. And them saying they're going to do this, I applaud them. You've never used the Redbox though, right, Matt?
No. Every red box around my house it's a stabbing hazard. You get robbed going to it. So I stay away from them. I stay with the old Netflix.
You always got to be careful of the stabbing hazards.
Well, I try to stay away from them. It's gotten me this far, but yeah, that's good though. I like it when companies do that kind of stuff, or like when people stand up to them, like when people yelled at Netflix and then Netflix, apologizes and tries to fix the stuff.
Yeah, and that's a
down
sign
with
of a
that
good
generally.
corporation. The sign of a good corporation is not a corporation that doesn't make mistakes. All corporations make mistakes. The sign of a good corporation, of a good company, of a good business is once a mistake is made and the consumers complain, how do they respond to it? And I think Netflix has done a good job responding to the concerns of their customers. I think Redbox has done a great job here trying to meet the needs of their customers. But let's move on to the next topic here.
Okay.
This past weekend, a few movies opened up, but the one I want to talk about right now is the new Liam Neeson film, The Grey.
Yes.
Which, before I give my thoughts on it, Matt, you saw The Grey. What did you think of it? What were your impressions of it?
I did see The Grey. I enjoyed it a lot. I was surprised. It's not exactly what I thought it was going to be. The trailer was a little bit more like it's ass kicking time, and it's more of like, let's try and get away from these wolves, which I should have known already. I mean, and it's not that they're going to just box the wolves up, but I thought it was good. I thought it was really good.
I'll tell you, I was very impressed with The Grey.
Oh, I am disappointed. I sat in the sorry to cut you off there. I sat in the theater and I go, and at the end of the credits, and I'm like, every time I have that, should I stay until the end feeling? And I'm like, what they're not going to do it in this movie. This isn't the Avengers. And I go home and then my wife tells me, oh, there's an extra scene at the end, and I'm like, oh, come on.
You're kidding.
But, yeah.
I didn't know there was an extra scene at the ending.
Yeah.
Have you looked?
There is an extra scene. I have looked it up. I don't. It's short, but that was the only. It makes me a little bit happier at the ending than it was, I guess.
Oh damn! And we
just
can't
before
even
the
talk
credits,
about it
yeah.
because I'm sure there are people
I know.
here who haven't seen
Yeah.
it. Okay, well once we
So
finish the show.
stay in your seats. Watch till the end of the credits.
All right. So as far as The Grey goes, here's one of the things that I told people. This is very rare. To me, The Grey is a brilliant, wonderful movie that I enjoyed a great deal, and I will encourage everybody to see. But I will never, ever watch this movie again. I will never watch this movie again.
Why not?
Because it stressed the hell out of me. And I'm sure that's what they're going for. They're going for stressing the hell out of you.
Yeah.
But I sat down with, I actually sat down and got together with Liam Neeson a couple of weeks ago to talk about The Grey. And we're talking a little bit before we start our interview, and he's like, "Oh, so what did you think of the film?" And Liam, you gotta understand, Liam Neeson is a huge man. Like he's huge. You look at him on screen, you think, "Oh, he's kind of tall and lanky." He ain't lanky. He's a big man. And he dwarfed me. So I'm sitting here. So what did you think of the film? And he speaks very even when he's enthusiastic and happy, he speaks monotonely and very quietly. What did you think of the film? I said, well, I'll be honest with you. I said, I enjoyed it. I loved it. But you've pretty much guaranteed I'm not going to be able to get on a plane again for the next year. And I said this to him. I said, I'm never going to go anywhere where there was even a wolf ever photographed. Because you got to understand, I'm afraid of heights. I have a huge fear of heights, which translates to flying, which means I'm super stressed when it comes to flying.
Well, you don't get any higher than that, yeah.
Exactly. And this film, more than Castaway, has the single most disturbing, realistic, and graphic-looking plane crash scene I have ever seen in my life. And I'm watching this movie, and I'm like, hell no. No! And I've got a few plane trips I've got coming up.
Enjoy those.
I'm supposed to get on a plane in 2 weeks. I'm flying out to Arizona to go do the press junket for John Carter of Mars, and then I'm flying the month after that. I'm flying out to Austin, Texas for the South by Southwest Film Festival, and then I'm flying to Buffalo, and then I'm like, and I'm just freaking out. So there's this graphic plane crash scene. There are these scenes involving extreme heights that had nothing to do with the plane crash that just had me freaking out in my seat. And then there's the wolves.
There's been worse plane crashes.
I don't know.
I don't think there's been worse.
In
Lost was
film?
a worse plane crash or something.
I don't know. You think the Lost plane crash was as graphic?
The tail came off and they're people are flying out of the back of the tail. That's quite horrific.
But to me, that felt more sci-fi. That felt more sensationalized. And like it felt so freaking like you're there. Like in The Gray, when that plane crash is happening, to me it felt like you were there. It felt like you were in that plane with Liam Neeson and all hell is breaking loose and you're gonna die. Like the Lost thing, it looked really cool, but it felt very sensationalized. It felt Hollywood. It didn't feel real to me, which is fine. Like I said, the only other plane crash I can think of in recent movie history is the Tom Hanks plane crash in Castaway. But the one in The Gray, to this day, has me freaked out. Like I'm completely freaked out about getting on a plane again. It's so disturbing. And then there's the wolves. Oh God, the wolves, and more wolves, and the wolves again and again and again. And it's just it's really really disturbing.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved this movie. I give it like a 7.5, 8 out of 10. I will tell you this though, without going into a lot of details. I didn't like the ending.
You didn't like the ending?
No, I did not like the ending. I
thought it was good.
You know what? It's funny because a lot of people loved the ending to The Gray. A lot of people absolutely loved it. Actually, I walked out of my press screening for it, and there were like film critics saying words like "perfect," like it was an absolute
you were just
perfect
there
ending.
with your arms crossed, like
Oh, screw you. Yeah, I'm just like, this is just not. I wasn't satisfied as an audience member for the ending, but like I said, take that what I'm saying with a grain of salt, folks, because everybody else was saying that they loved the ending. They thought it was perfect. Well, listen, we're at like 30 minutes into the podcast. I think we're going to take the last 10 or 15 minutes here and just take questions from the chat board. If you didn't know, listen, folks, wherever you're watching this from, if you're not watching this on our Facebook page, if you want to jump in the chat board, just jump over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/FYC podcast, and hit the Ustream link in the side, and just click on the chat tab, and you can jump in and chat. So if you've been keeping your eye on these on the chat board, and any interesting comments or interesting things brought up here that we should know about, Matt?
Yeah, we got a campaign started for Liam Neeson in Expendables 3. I'm with it.
I'm down with that. He's perfect for that.
I'm with it.
I don't.
He's got a special set of skills.
You know what's funny? I think with Liam Neeson, you don't really think action star when you think of Liam Neeson. At least not in the last few years, but at least not in his career as a whole. But really, when you think about Taken and you think A-Team and now you think The Gray and really go all the way back to Darkman. Remember Darkman? Yeah, that was Liam Neeson, folks, in Darkman. I'm completely down with that. Liam Neeson for Expendables 3. I'm in. Throw me in with that. Throw my hat in the ring for that. What else we got?
We got someone wants to know your opinion of the Drive DVD cover.
You know what? I haven't seen the Drive DVD cover.
Oh,
I don't think. So if you're in, look,
I imagine it's stylized and widely overrated.
Yeah, I mean, to me, look, I hate the fact that that DVDs and Blu-rays change their covers from the movie posters. They always have specific DVD covers that are different from the movie posters. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. Look, you create a movie poster, you say this is the official, and you go through different versions of it, sure, but then at the end of the day, the studio says this is the poster. Stick with that.
Yeah.
You know, when I buy a Blu-ray, I want my Blu-ray cover or my DVD cover to have the poster of the movie. That's what I want. And so I'm assuming, so I have not seen the Drive cover, but it doesn't matter what it is. I don't like it. It doesn't matter what. I haven't looked at it yet, but I can tell you right now, I don't like
It's
it
probably got pink and blue. And, yeah, I know.
because it's
great.
different from the movie poster, and so I don't like that. That's my. Have you seen it yet, Matt?
The cover?
Yeah, for Drive.
I think so. I think it's just him standing there with a hammer or something, right? I don't know. Sure. I don't know.
Sounds like Triple
I
H.
wasn't swept away by that movie anyway, so I know the commercials are on. Great. Albert Brooks. Fantastic. All right. The next question that we got was, were you surprised by Melissa McCarthy's nomination?
Yeah, I was stunned.
Yeah?
I was absolutely stunned. And I was stunned. And keep in mind that I'm somebody who really, I really enjoyed Bridesmaids. I didn't think Bridesmaids was the best comedy of the year, but I thought it was really good. And I do think she was fantastic in it.
Yeah,
I
she's
mean,
really good.
She stole the show every time she was on screen. What did you think of Bridesmaids as a whole?
I really enjoyed Bridesmaids. I didn't like the comparisons to like the Girls Hangover thing, but because it's not the same. But
No, it wasn't the same at all. I didn't understand that comparison whatsoever when people were comparing it to Hangover. Completely different films. Mm-hmm. But
yep.
But Melissa McCarthy, look, I'm happy that she got a nomination because I wouldn't have thought of it at first, but as you look back at Bridesmaids, whenever she's on screen, she owns it. She completely steals every single scene that she's in. She steals it. Part of that,
she was a powerhouse on SNL.
I didn't see her on
SNL
SNL.
She was fantastic, really good.
Really
good.
And I haven't watched her show either. What's that show like?
I haven't either. That's
Kate and Mike or Samantha
Mike
and
and
Billy?
Molly.
Mike and Molly. That's it.
Samantha and Billy.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. That's good. I like Samantha and Billy better than Mike and Molly.
So I have not seen that show. So I'm very limited on my exposure to her as an actress. She's had some small roles in a few things here and there, but I was thrilled. I was thrilled to see her get a nomination. I never would have put her on the list myself, but now with her being on the list, I go, yeah, I actually, considering how much she stole the show whenever she was on screen, I'm behind it. I dig it.
Yeah, it's cool. It is kind of a bummer, though. It's like one of those like, oh, yeah, here, we'll put this girl up there. She has no chance. It's going to be some girl from The Artist, and then, everybody else can go away. But it's nice to see recognition,
Sure. And look, I know this is start. I want us to go on to the next question, but just let me throw this in there. There are a few Best Picture nominations. You mentioned The Artist. I think it's an overrated film.
I haven't seen it, but
it's good. It's very imaginative. It's very creative. It's very unique. But I still think it's overrated. That and The Artist. I find not the Midnight in Paris. I finally got around to watching Midnight in Paris. Insufferably overrated film. It's a
I don't know.
It's
I'm
a decent
like
little
that
movie.
I think. I don't know.
It's a decent little movie. I liked it. It's a nice little movie. But I wouldn't put it in the top 20 of the year. I wouldn't put it in the top 20.
You're not a Woody Allen guy, huh?
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, there are some Woody Allen films that blow my socks off. Like the last one of his that I saw, Vicky Cristina Barcelona, I thought was awesome. I thought it was incredible. And some of his older stuff is classic. So nothing against Woody Harrelson. Nothing against,
him either.
Nothing against Woody Allen. But it's just that I don't think this was one of his particular strong pieces of work. That's just me. Anyway, what else we got?
Let me see. Your thoughts on who will win the Best Picture nominees?
Well, there's a difference between. Go ahead.
Inclining Pizza thinks Hugo's going to take it. By the way.
I don't think Hugo has a chance.
So sorry.
No, it doesn't have a chance.
Get out of here.
It's not that I don't think it's not worthy. I'm just saying I don't think it has a chance to win. There's a difference between what I think should win and what I think will win. What do I think should win?
That happens every year, though, right?
Yeah. Well, sometimes they line up, but this year they don't. What I think should win easily, hands down. I've been getting into some arguments online about this. Is that without question, The Help is the best film of the year. I mean, that's just my opinion. All films subjective. But from my subjective opinion, I'll tell you, you're a dumbass if you don't agree. No. It's all subjective. It's all subjective. It's all subjective.
Yeah.
But to me, it's there's no question. No question The Help was the best film of the year. It's sweeping up on all the acting categories. But I don't think it's going to win. I think there are some
going to win, right?
Well, it's I would have said The Artist.
Don't fight it.
I would have said The Artist a month ago. But I'm feeling a lot of groundswell for The Descendants. I'm feeling a lot of momentum for The Descendants, the George Clooney flick. Now, I wouldn't put The Descendants in the top 3. It definitely deserves a nomination for Best Film of the Year. I personally wouldn't put it in the top 3, but it's a great film. And George Clooney should win Best Actor over Desjardins, I believe is the name of the guy from The Artist. He should win Best Actor. It's either going to be The Artist or The Descendants, but at this point, I'm not willing to put money on either one. I was going to mention this. Apodrox on the chat boards asked me this. I got to address this. Do you think Carey Mulligan got screwed out of a Best Supporting Actress nomination for Shame? No, I don't. I think it was really. I think it was a really good performance. It's one of those performances where if she got nominated, I wouldn't have blinked. I would have gone, yeah. But she didn't get nominated, and I'm not, she deserved to be there. It was borderline to me. Like, if she was in there, I wouldn't have complained. She didn't get nominated. No complaints from me that she didn't get nominated. So it was one of those borderline ones. So anyway, that's my feeling on that.
Well, usually, I don't know, snubs don't usually happen. It's more like why is this nominated usually, right? Or no? For me it is anyways. I'm like, what is that doing up there?
Well, there's some big stuff. Like this one, the big one that a lot of people are complaining about was either Michael Fassbender for Shame not getting nominated for Best Actor and Drive. Why is his name eluding me right now? Lead actor, Ryan Gosling for Drive. Personally, I'm happy with the Best Actor nomination list. Once again, if I definitely don't think Gosling should have been nominated for Drive. No way.
Well, he had like 3 lines. It was and yeah, okay. I'm
not
a huge
and
Drive
90%
fan,
of the film, 90% of the film, and look, he performs it perfectly. But all he had to do was this:
yeah,
look real cold and stern, and say a couple of lines. No, like to me, the Drive wasn't even Ryan Gosling's best performance of the year. Ryan Gosling's best performance of the year was Ides of March with George Clooney. That was Ryan Gosling's best performance of the year. If you're going to put Ryan Gosling on the Best Actor nomination list, you don't do it for Drive. Not a chance in hell. You do it for Ides of March. And once again, like the Carey Mulligan thing, it's one of those performances where I'm not complaining that he's not on the list for Ides of March. Personally, I thought he deserved it, but I'm not complaining. But had he been there, I'd go, yeah, he deserves that spot. I don't think it was a snub, but if anything, he deserved a nomination for Ides of March. Anyway, what else we got?
Let's see, this one, another inclining pizza question. Have you seen 50/50, and if so, would you think it's a good substitute for Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close?
Let's put it this way: if those are my only options, if you're saying you've got this one slot left,
if it's a choice between Let's Try and Make Cancer Funny and My Dad Died,
yeah,
which one you got?
And you're only giving me those 2 options. You got the one Best Picture slot, and you're only giving me 2 options: 50/50 or Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. I'll go 50/50. If you're only giving me those 2 options, there are other films I would put in its place. But if you're only giving me the 2 options, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close or 50/50, I'll go 50/50. Deserve the spot. Next.
Okay, let's see. Hold on just a second. We had a Great Gatsby question. I lost it though.
Oh well.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see nothing else.
Okay, so guys, we're going to wrap this up in a couple. We'll just have time for a couple more questions. So if you're in the chat board, just throw in your question here quick, and we'll try to get to it. Somebody mentioned you have to see either one, Django Unchained or The Great Gatsby. Which do you see?
Okay, maybe that was it.
Yeah, from Buzzman. That's close, man. That's close.
That's so weird.
Those are 2 so completely different films. But here's the thing about Django Unchained. The director, again, his name's eluding me.
Yeah, you got me. I've never even heard of Django.
Oh well,
Unchained.
it's the guy who just did The Bastards. Help me out, guys. Why is this extremely famous director
The Bastards?
who
Quentin
I know?
Tarantino?
And yeah. The thing about Quentin Tarantino, I find he's a little bit hit and miss. Because, like, Bastards, I didn't even like Bastards the first time I watched it.
Oh, Bastards is good.
Yeah, well, Inglourious Bastards, I didn't even like the movie. I've watched it a couple of more times since, and I go, what was I thinking? This is a good movie. I don't know why I didn't like it the first time I watched it. I watched it a couple times since, and it's grown on me. But, like, Death Proof, that was a piece of shit movie. That was terrible.
I'm fine with Grindhouse. I'm the only fine with Grindhouse in the world.
But
both of them I'm fine with.
See, I liked Planet Terror part of Grindhouse. I thought that was a lot of fun. And the theater I went to, because I know they switched them around, but the theater I went to, they showed Planet Terror first. And it was the Rodriguez. That's the Rodriguez film. And then they got the Tarantino. And I'm like, holy crap, if this was this good, I can't wait to see Death Proof. And I'm sitting there going through the fake trailers, which were all great. And then they get to it, and I'm like, this movie sucks. This is a boring, slow, eventless, dry, dreary, painful movie to watch. It just sucked. So you get Django coming along, and now I've got Inglourious Bastards, which after a few viewings, I've grown to like quite a bit, actually. And then you got Death Proof, which I just think is a giant piece of shit. I don't know what to make of it, so I'm gonna say Great Gatsby between the two. Now, I mean, who knows? I hope I end up loving Django Unchained, but I'm gonna if I can only pick one right now, I'm gonna say The Great Gatsby.
Okay, all right. Well, then that's settled then.
Okay.
All right.
Somebody on thing has asked if I have seen Dustin Hoffman. Interesting question. Yes.
Ever in life?
Yes, I have seen and spoke to and met Dustin Hoffman. Oh, wait, so he's clarified. Have you seen his new series, Luck? No, but I'm dying to see it. And you know what? We're at 45 minutes, so I think we're going to wrap this up.
Okay. Well, hold on. There's one that wants to know if you've seen, wants to know where his wife and daughter is. John?
That's a great fake trailer. That's
red box?
No, where's my wife and daughter? That's Machete. That's from the fake trailer of Machete. Where's my wife and daughter? Then you cut to Machete, and he's got both of them nude in the water. They're in my pool. Your wife and daughter are in my pool.
That's right.
So listen, folks, that'll do it for us right now. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to like our Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/FYC podcast and make sure you like us and follow us there. Don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. for FYC Daily. Make sure you email me and let me know your comments and thoughts. You can email me at Campea, that's Campea, @gmail.com. Let me know your thoughts about the show and what you think we're doing right and what you think we can improve. We'll be back tomorrow. This is going to be a daily show, folks. So thank you so much for joining us. I want to thank my co-host for this episode, Matthew Bernard. Matthew, thank you so much for joining us. And guys, thank you so much, all of you on the chat board there. Thanks so much for being here. And I guess that'll do it. So until next time, bye-bye.